Hello everybody and welcome to Lawrie's Mechanical Marvels. Today is the fourth Thursday of the month and therefore it's time for a Lawrie special. But before we get into what I might be looking at today, can I ask you all just to give the video a like if you haven't already subscribed, and when you've watched it, leave us a comment, let us know if you've enjoyed it or if you haven't. But today we're going to look at this, Jupiter, and see if we can turn Jupiter from being a big red paperweight into a functioning vehicle. And that means we need to go and steal something from the Dodge.
What we think is the original compressor has got a crack in it somewhere, so when it's charging air and pressurising the tanks, the red line of those, the safety valve, lifts at about 11 bar, which is 160 psi. So if there is a crack, the thought is that instead of pushing the air that way where there's a lot of resistance because there's a lot of pressure, it's much easier to pressurise the water system, which isn't running at 160 psi. It runs at much, much less. In fact, the spring in there, you can squeeze it with your hands. So what does the water system normally run at, Jeffrey? Any idea?
Not a clue.
Cool. Why are you here?
Maybe your camera.
Yes, I remember. So the thought is it's much easier for the air to push itself into the water system, which then pressurises the water system, pushes the air out of the compressor head, so the compressor is no longer being cooled, which is why it gets so hot, and jettisons all the pressure out of here. That's the theory. Whether it actually works, because if this does the same thing, having worked perfectly, when did I bring the Dodge here? Is that 2 years ago? Three years ago? Oh God, I think.
2, I think.
2 years ago.
In here, at least. You had it somewhere else before.
No, it came straight here.
Oh, the Dodge.
Yeah,
yes,
the Dodge.
sorry.
Yeah, the Dodge. Dodge came straight here. So it drove fine with no problems when it came up here. Therefore, this is probably fine. If this dies, I don't know what the problem is. It's either I don't know. It's either possibly a head gasket or a blockage in the water system somewhere, which is causing the head to fail. I really hope this works. One of the advantages of having two fire engines which have the same engine in is that when a component fails on one, say, I don't know, maybe the air compressor, there happens to be a very similar one on the fire engine that doesn't currently do anything. So we're going Robin. Come at thee. She's not going to miss them. By the time I've got this anywhere near needing it, we'll probably have fixed it. Like the rust, maybe. Oh, that's all rotten down there as well. I found, I wonder what that is. There's a dipstick there that I've got no idea what it is.
Transmission?
I can't even reach it.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, that must be trans.
When it says, this has come off as well. God, look at all these bits that are coming off this truck. Pro tip: eat Haribo with hands like this. Proven to make you live longer.
They did use asbestos back in these days, didn't they?
They did. It was particularly delicious.
I'm just here against my will every day. I'm stuck,
Every day?
In the shed.
Every day.
The only time I get let out is when he comes over the door.
I can't reach that part. I'm quite.
He gave me a camera and said, point at these things. I'll let you out when you do.
You don't really do enough. I mean, there's a load of vehicles for you to be getting on with. If you're in here every day.
Yeah, every day when you get back from work, just come out to the shed, just start grinding some rust off.
That's all I ask. I'm not a monster. But I know you don't want to give it your prize. But I would love to have one working fire engine. Sweetheart, really. Just don't be a Right, I'm asking you nicely. Give up.
The suspension's crying.
I will get it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. That's useful. Piston stopped at top.
To stop anything getting in.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's basically perfect.
This, despite being full of green coolant, and I use blue in Jupiter, which is great, this is the head of an air pump compressor, identical to the one that is causing me a lot of grief on that one over there. If I'm really lucky, and I do mean really lucky, this is going to fit on Jupiter and will return Jupiter to being a working vehicle. Great. Please work. Let's see if that's going to work.
I don't think that's enough yet. It's definitely the right part though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's that. Ah.
That elbow.
Yeah, that elbow's wrong.
But that just looks like we can thread that out and then that'll go straight on there. Because that's straight.
No, I need the one from my compressor.
Oh. Which is not here.
Which is not here. That bit will fit at the back.
And that pump.
That will fit there.
Fits there.
So
Oh, and where's your sensor?
that goes in the top there. That goes, that's that.
Oh, that's that. Okay.
So that goes in there.
Yep.
So it's definitely the right piece. I just need my adapters.
I thought they were exactly the same engine.
They are, but if you notice on this, the fan's a lot higher because the radiator's higher. So what we have here are my two compressors. This one is the one that came off Jupiter, which we believe to be knackered, and this one is the one that's come off Red Roof, which we believe to be good. Now the difference being on these two is this pipe here versus that pipe there, and that's it. So all I need to do is pull that off and swap them over, because obviously this pipe being at a right angle means that it doesn't match up with the water pipe that I've got on Jupiter. So by taking this one off, screwing it in there, it's presumably the same thread, should be easy. In order to get this off, that I've now got to turn, but this fitting being now in the way, so I've got to take that off to be able to spin that to get that off, because complexities. There we go. That goes on that. And then, I've got to take that off there to put this there. But potentially, one compressor head, which might now work for the Dennis, which is exciting. I've come back to Jupiter with the compressor head of the Dodge, which is now sporting the fittings that came from Jupiter originally. So hopefully, with this bit and this bit tweaked slightly, it should now fit the pipework of Jupiter. Do you like the new blue colour as well? I think that's very becoming of a fire engine.
It's where the water goes, right?
Yeah, blue for water. Because, yeah. Why is everything in the way? Just... Dennis, if you were still making fire engines, which I appreciate you're not, and good job on this one because it survived relatively well, this was not a good bit of design. Like, I appreciate times have changed, but tipping cab, Dennis, seriously. So with this, here is our air in, which comes off the inlet manifold, which is this thing here. And there's a little branch there, which takes our air to the compressor head. And then air out is taken from this bit of presumably copper pipe, which takes it back down to the distributor for the air and my air tanks. Then water in is this rubber pipe here, which comes straight off the pump, which is that. And then the return is this elbow here and that there, which takes it back down to the main water jacket bank. Or the, actually no, I'd lie, it takes it to a thermostat, which is here, or at least the thermostat housing. It is a lot easier to attach these fittings loosely first, because I have spent so many hours having bolted this thing down and then sat there going, why don't these all line up perfectly? Because they're metal fittings. So with the nut that goes to the side that pulls the fitting inside, and obviously if they're not perfectly square, the knot won't bite the thread. Much easier doing it this way. I have spent hours crying and swearing at it. In fact, I'm pretty sure last time we tried to do this, you and I spent about a day
Yeah.
attempting to get this to get back on and going, why don't you work? Preservation, because you know she's a preserved vehicle. You kind of feel like the vehicle should be helping you. You know, you're trying to preserve it, you're trying to keep it. You know, you've stopped it going to a scrapyard, especially in the case of that one over there. And you feel sometimes like maybe, like, do you want to still be here, or do you want to go to the scrapyard? Like now with this little piece of rubber pipe, it's like if you go back on, I probably won't scrap you.
I don't think you would scrap it in any case.
Oh, Jubes, no, Jubes have never scrapped Jubes.
This thing knows.
She knows. She's got she's got relaxed. She knows it's just. She knows she can do whatever, and I'm going to keep her. It's just like my firstborn child. It's like can do no wrong. I've got some friends who've just had kids, and you know they're very much oh my kids are lovely, very happy with their babies. This is basically my kid. Like she can do no wrong. She's wonderful. I show photos of her to absolutely everybody, even the people who don't care. It's just like having a child.
Has to change its parts every now and again. Clean up after it.
Could definitely clean up after it. But I give you
It
this.
randomly leaks fluids every now and again.
It randomly leaks fluid, yes. Can't put a nappy on it.
That's unfortunate.
I can't change a nappy on it. But I did have this argument with a friend of mine who has got kids. I argued having a fire engine is better than having kids. Now hear me out. Kids give you a lot of joy, and I give you that. However, Jupiter has actually saved people's lives, so that's good. That's the first point. Secondly, and this is the big thing, when your kid upsets you and does something bad, embarrasses you in public, or hits you, or draws on the walls, you have to deal with your kid. You can't get rid of it. You have to. It's still there. Jupiter, I can put it in the shed, I can give it a hard kick and shut the door, and I don't have to talk to it for like a month. If you do that with a kid, you get into a lot of trouble. Ergo, fire engines are better. Flawless logic, right?
You'd never have kids.
I have been stabbed so many times trying to do up Jubilee clips on this epoxy machine. You know, Jeffrey, they say you can tell a lot about a person by the company they keep.
I'm just a cameraman.
Cheers, buddy. Cheers, buddy.
I'm just documenting this descent into madness.
We are well on the way. That's the quickest that's ever gone together. And I appreciate I've cut this down massively for the edit, and it's still taken forever, but genuinely, normally this takes hours and a lot of swearing and a lot of frustration, and that's I'm getting good at this.
Just taking it apart so many times, that's why. That's the only reason.
Yeah, how depressing is that? There is water in there because the joint's getting wet, which means I haven't done that up tight enough. But since I took the cap off the radiator, so it airlocked itself and stopped it from genius. Genius. I see. Maybe so. There's water behind that now, so that means that probably there is water in the system. I'll put a bit more water into there for good measure. Ah! Do you know the steps here?
On this one, yes.
I didn't know.
I see what you did there because they're not on the other one.
I can't quite explain the feeling that I've got in me. It's part excitement for it could be fixed, it might work, and also like a crippling terror of it's going to fail, it's going to piss all the water out, and you're not going to go, what's wrong with it? And I'm like, it's a really strange sensation of part excitement and part absolute terror. Ladies and gentlemen, in the comments, if you'd like to pause the video at this stage, put your bets on what you think. We having success or failure? Once you put your comment, continue watching.
Now we wait. We're waiting for either the pitter-patter of water from underneath or for the low air alarm to go off, which indicates it's generating air. Because until now, it just sits there, it doesn't do anything, it just pressurises the water system. I'm so scared! I'm so anxiously excited and so very scared at the same time. We have air! Discharging! It's charging air! So that's air tank 1 and that's air tank 2. And this is the most air they've had in them for quite some time. All we need to do is get beyond that little red mark there on both tanks and this low air buzzer here. We'll do exactly that! Wow! It
did the thing you said it would do.
Oh! Now, I appreciate that I'm quite strange, but that is one of those most glorious noises known to my ears. That is just, you don't want any of this precision, high revving, racy noises, none of that. You want that. That is a good noise. That's the air system now at full pressure, so that's pumping into the air system, not the water system. So, the thing to do now is to power that down, turn her off. There's no bubbling. I think we need to take this on a road test, but that's a positive start. That might have solved it. That might have. We need to take her on a road run now and wait for her to break down on the road somewhere. Oh, the smoke! She hasn't had a run in so long. There's a lot of smoke behind us. Well, it seems to be working. I'm a little scared. In fact, I'm very scared. There is a lot of fear going on right now. But she's holding air, and this is the first time that she's been out on a run in quite some time, and it's entirely possible that this might have fixed it. On the other hand, it's entirely possible that we're going to open up the water tank in a minute and it'll totally overpressurised. Hello car, I would get out of the way if I was you. He did. This is good. Like, she's wonderful. I love this thing so much. Could this be Jupiter fixed? I guess only time will tell. So for now, we're just going to have a gentle trundle, and we'll see if it holds together. This is better than she's been for a bit, at least. At least we've got her outside. for the first time this year. It's a triangle here, isn't it? So we'll swing around the triangle. I think we'll try swinging around the triangle. Well, that's relatively easy to turn around. Huh? Yeah, let's just pause. Do that. Would you mind just lifting that and see if it's boiling out of the behind you?
Would you mind doing that?
I don't want to. Lift that and standard engine pressurization.
Nice.
That's right. Okay. I am so scared. I've never been this scared in my life.
It's not blowing itself up.
Yet.
Yeah.
Right, let's do a difficult manoeuvre. First gear is so slow on this. And that's not second. That's second. How am I going to do this? Oh yes! You beauty. I am an HGV driver. I can do these kind of manoeuvres. Roll on this year. Because we're going to do some fire engine adventures. Somebody was just looked up with a look of what on earth is that. There's definitely something there that needs tightening, isn't there?
Yeah.
So you can hear the... Yeah, because that's when she hits the full pressure for here. Okay, so we need to do a bit of adjustment, but basically, we think that might have solved the problem. We made it safely back to the shed, which can only mean one thing. It works! Jupiter lives! It's a working vehicle! And clearly, the most logical thing to do to celebrate this fact was to sit on the roof. So, after all the things it could have been, a cracked block, head gasket failure, it was the compressor that had previously been taken off and sent to a garage to be checked. And they said it was fine, but evidently not. So what's next? Well, we got a load of little jobs to do. The headlight down there, that seemed to die during the trip. It worked when we left the shed, but running around, it's gone out. And when I reversed back into the shed, apparently I've got no reverse lights now. But for both problems, I'm sure there's a loose connection on that headlight because I've had problems with that before. I think it just needs cleaning. And the selector, when you put it into reverse, the contact there, I'm sure it's gone before. We've wiggled that, wiggled the gear stick, and that's got the contact back. So that just probably needs just a little bit of adjustment. But now I have the motivation to deal with these tasks and get this thing finished because it works. And that is absolutely marvellous. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this Lawrie special, this mini Lawrie adventure. And I'll see you guys next week because due to our amazing planning, there's another Thursday in January. So we'll have another Lawrie special. So I hope to see you guys then. If you haven't already, give us a like, subscribe if you haven't, and drop us a comment and tell us if you're even just a fraction of as excited as I am about this thing working. Ta-ra, guys. Oh, hello. You're still here. Well, if you're not content at seeing me happy, how about seeing me miserable and seeing the pain that this thing has caused me? I suggest having a look down there, and that's What's Broken Now, episode 2, where this thing almost reduces me to tears. Or how about over here, one of the specials I did for JM on Cars, where I tried to take this out for review, and it went no. Go on, give one of them a click. I'll still be here when you come back. Don't you worry. I think this would make an amazing calendar pose.